Sergeant Lawrence while Emmons away, so that somebody else gets off. What's going on? That is great. Yeah. Michelle, you do Michelle up here. Michelle, you do Michelle up here. Go home. Right here. Big dark hair.
If I can, I will, but no, you know what? I'll just put some hair and I'll just like that shirt.
Thank you, Holly.
Or I could get your
What's a burger?
it's essentially a deconstructed hamburger salad with hamburger on it. I'm asking a lot. I know. I made it. The whole month of December coordinating. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. Good to see you.
Great to see you.
I don't have my hammer to bell. Good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome you to the Tyler Rotary Club, and we're so excited to have you here today. I'm Pamela Walters, the current president. We have several past presidents that we're always honored to have. But anyway, I'm the current president of the club, and I'm going to display a couple bright kids over here. But anyway, we're so happy to have you. It's so nice to have a room full of beautiful people. And Dylan, thank you for bringing your guest. Oh, did I knock it over? Sorry. I'm good at stuff like that, so just always pay attention because you never know what you might be missing. If you will, please silence your cell phones so that we have a perfectly wonderful hour of uninterruptions. And join me in thanking our fabulous pianist, Vicki Conway, today. She's brilliant. And then also, if you'll stand, We'll have Allison Cambry come forward, lead us in the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say can we see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, whose cross lights and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, words of gallantry streaming, and the rockets that flare bursting in air, they proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Allison. Someday I'm going to be able to sing like Allison. Okay, I want to thank the greeters for today. So if you'll all help me thank Lisa Norton, who I didn't see, but is she here? And Pamela Walters, and I forgot. So I hope somebody greets you today. I'm glad you're here. King Rainey, I can always count on him. He's the cutest thing there ever was in my life. And JB. Awesome. Thank you guys for stepping up. That's the great thing about Rotary. You can fall, but somebody's going to be there to back you up. So it's really nice. Okay. We have a long list of. Well, I'm looking for your name. Oh, there you are. Yes, please. Dixie Walker is going to bring the invocation and lead the introduction. So, Dixie. Would you pray with me, please? Oh God, give us strength and divine wisdom as we lead our families, our businesses, and our club through this hard time. Lord, we need you. Please sweep through this nation and heal this land. Restore our strength, renew our minds, and may we cast out anything that's not of you. In your Son, Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. Okay, have a seat, please. So we'd like to introduce our guests. Now, the speaker will do later, and our high school guest will do later. So let's start with visiting Rotarians. Do we have any visiting Rotarians? Follow my hand and don't stand till I get to you. No visiting Rotarians. Okay, let's go with guests then. Table here.
I want to introduce Ann Ferguson, stand-up Ann. She's with the Mentoring Alliance, spoke to us back in December, potential new member.
Welcome, Ann. Glad you're here. Back table, we have a guest.
I have my beautiful and long-suffering wife of 50 years in the
Welcome, glad you're here. Back table, in the middle. No guest?
I have two guests with me today. I have a repeat guest, Mr. Brooks Sutherland, who's just joined us at the meetings companies, and he has about a year and a half left at Union Filer. He's interested in getting some information on getting a women club started at PT.
Great. Rotary, yeah.
Rotary.
And then Trey Cobb with Innovation Pipeline.
Woo, try it.
You did it before, haven't you? Yeah, okay, well, welcome back. Okay, let's go to this table. Any guests here? Back table. No? And yes, Dylan.
Dylan Meyer, I have JD Case here with me. He is at Allstate Insurance with me. He does a lot of our commercial products and benefits, IRA.
Welcome, JD. All right. Any place else? Can we get everybody? All right. Well, welcome. Thank you, Dixie. And especially I want to welcome today our outstanding high school students and their family members. We're really excited and honored to have you with us today. So let's give them a hand. Okay, now then I think it's okay for me to do this long list of birthdays and anniversaries. First of all, let's do birthdays. Jim Schamberger, February the 1st, which also is my husband's birthday. Mitch Andrews, John Hudnall, and Austin Luce, February the 2nd. Happy birthday. Henry Bell, John McGinnis, February 20th. I know John's here, and I know Henry's not. Bill Clyde, who's here, February the 25th. Claudia Carroll, who's here, a fellow realtor friend of mine, February the 26th. Jack Halley didn't make it today. He's February the 27th. And so, are we going to sing happy birthday? Oh, yay. Okay. Please join us. To you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarians. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Okay. Rotary anniversary. Sam Scarborough, 1 year as of February the 1st. Michael McLaughlin, Mickey, Jack Pollard, King Ramey, 2 years, February the 7th. Wake up. Neil Basso, 9 years, February the 7th. Dear Larry Wickham, 10 years, February the 17th. Jim Bland, the King, 39 years, February the 18th. Austin Luce, 3 years, February the 22nd. Let's give them a big hand. Congratulations, all of y'all. That's an accomplishment. And famous radio DJ and owner Paul Gleiser is going to do This Week in History.
Thank you. Thank you. That is, build-up gets bigger every week.
We're learning.
Today, on the 4th of February in 1979, George Washington was elected by, give a load of this, unanimous vote of the Electoral College. He's the only U.S. president with that distinction. He would go on to repeat it in 1792. Ronald Reagan came close to 1984, but not unanimous. On the 5th of February, 1994, 31 years after committing the crime, Byron D. LeBeckwith was convicted of the murder of civil rights leader Medgar Evers. 2 trials. In 1964, in front of white all-male juries, resulted in deadlocks. District Attorney Bobby DeLauder took the case up again in 1989, won conviction and a life sentence for D. LeBeckwith in 1994. He died in prison, where he belonged, in 2001. Shouldn't be this way. On Saturday the 6th, 1952, after a long illness, King George VI of Great Britain died in his sleep. His daughter Elizabeth ascended the throne at the age of 27. After 69 years on the throne at age 94, she's now the longest reigning monarch in British history, which dates to the reign of Alfred the Great. The Beatles arrived at New York's JFK Airport aboard Pan Am Flight 1 from London. I Want to Hold Your Hand had just hit number one on the U.S. chart 6 days earlier. The crowd at JFK had to be controlled by the police. 2 days later, on Sunday evening, the Beatles made their U.S. debut on U.S. television on the Ed Sullivan Show with a song. Yeah. That was in 1964. On Monday the 8th, 1943, after an engagement that began on August 7th of the previous year, and at the cost of over $10,000 American casualties, including 1,600 killed in action. The Japanese guarded Guadalcanal and the Solomon Islands, putting the strategic airfield in American hands. On the 9th of February, 1965, President Lyndon Johnson ordered a U.S. Marine Air Hawk Battalion to South Vietnam, marking the first commitment of combat troops to what would become the Vietnam War. And on Wednesday, the 10th of February, 1942, Glenn Miller received the first ever gold record from the Recording Industry Association of America for selling 1 million copies of Chattanooga Choo Choo. The song was written for the 1941 movie Sun Valley Serenade, starring Sonia Henney and Milton Berle. The song hit #1 on the Billboard chart on December 7th, 1941. Birthdays in the coming week: Alice Cooper, the rocker, turns 73 today. Roger Staubach, Dallas Cowboys great quarterback, 79 on Sunday. It's going to get a little worse here.
No.
Actor Nick Nolte turns 80 on Monday.
Whoa.
Singer-songwriter Carole King turns 79 on Tuesday. And singer Roberta Flack turns 84 on Wednesday. Yep. It's not looking good for any of us, and that's
How many of you, pardon me, I've got one last bite of rubber bowl in my mouth. How many of you know any of Glenn Miller's music? One of my favorite songs in the whole wide world, and I was not born in 1941, but my mother played him on the radio all the time, was Moonlight Serenade. If you ever get a chance, hit it up on your telephone because it's an unbelievable piece of music. Okay, enough of that. Okay. Oh, this is so exciting. Mary, can you and King come forward and tell us all about these wonderful, outstanding high school students?
Hello, everyone. Today we're honored to have our early college, a brand new school, to our outstanding high school students today. And with us, we have two ladies. The principal is still here, and her name is Dell Senna. She goes by Dell Frazier, Mrs. Frazier. And then she is the principal, and then the counselor had to leave, and her name is Miss Beatrice Henry. And today, we will be recognizing one student that could not come, the female, Sadie, because of COVID concerns for she and her family. But I'm going to read her accomplishments, and Mrs. Dell Frazier will come and accept her trophy on her behalf. So our first winner today is Sadie Giselle Bernal, and she is being ranked first in her class and set to graduate as the valedictorian. Will graduate high school with a mere 62 college credit hours.
Whoa.
Wow. See, that makes her a junior.
I know.
All righty. She received the Tyler ISD Secondary Student of the Month Award. She is being the Community Service Coordinator of her school, Early College, National Honor Society. And lastly, she tutors with her students here learning program since her sophomore year. She also plans to attend the University of Texas at Austin. There you go, Richard. And major in government. And so instead of Sadie coming up, we have Miss Dell Frazier come up. Thank you for coming today. Thank you. Congratulations on behalf of the
We'll get one at the end.
Thank you. Our next singer we'll hear about is Josue Martinez. Josue, will you come on up here, please? Joining him today are his parents, his mother, Ari Contreras, dad, Eladio Martinez. I'm not really. We got his sister, Ana Karen Martinez, thank you for coming, and girlfriend,
Wow.
Maritza Pineda. Thank y'all. We're recognizing Josue Martinez for his many accomplishments. Becoming a semifinalist for the Gates Scholarship, which is a full ride scholarship. Is that the one and only Bill Gates? Yes, it is. That's great. You did it. Will graduate early college, high school with a GPA of 4.0, salutatorian. Accepted as the National Honor Society, as well as Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society. Accepted into 4 core subject honor societies. Will graduate high school with an associate's degree. He plans to attend Texas A&M. And major in aerospace engineering. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and let's recognize seniors of early college, high school. The name of this world, the moment, and the parents and parents. The big pictures afterwards.
Congratulations.
I just had to touch him. I've never touched an aerospace engineer before. Tremendous accomplishments. And I once again want to say how honored we are. I'm sorry that the young lady couldn't make it, but we're still honored to have you here, Dale. And this young man, I just am completely, totally blown away. It's fabulous. Okay, enough of that. On June the 5th, who knows what's going to happen? This club will be having its 100th year centennial celebration. And we're so excited. It will be right here in Holly Tree, and we want everybody to come. It will be quite a party, because we probably won't be around for the second 100th party. So if you haven't already got it on your calendar, put it on your calendar right now. Invite your friends, guests, girlfriends, boyfriends, spouses, but it's going to be a wonderful party, and there will be a lot of really interesting, I hate to call them artifacts, but historical pieces here to view. And so we would love to share it with you. Please come. Okay. Next week, the program is going to be another very exciting one. Probably not as exciting as Jay today, but another exciting program. Nicholas Ganji will be here to speak from the United States Attorney's Office. My husband retired from there after 40 years. So that will be a nice program. Okay, now then, I think it's time if our very fluid Bill Pascal, President-elect, will come forward and introduce our speaker for today. Give me a big hand.
Thank you. Thank you. No, thank you. Okay. Today, just a second. Done this earlier. All right, today, our speaker is our County Fire Marshal, Mr. Jay Brooks. Yes, sir. He serves Smith County as a volunteer recovery diver, goes under water and gets water. And as a firefighter, EMT beginning in 1998, he became a peace officer, joined the Smith County Fire Marshal's office
in 2008 as a volunteer deputy, serving under the late Fire Marshal Jim Seaton. Marshal Brooks was appointed as a Fire Marshal in 2014, and again in 2019. He holds a BBA and an MBA from LeTourneau University and has studied engineering at Eastern Kentucky University and that little quaint university close to College Station. You guys know what I'm talking about? Texas A&M. Yeah, I was waiting on that. He holds a Master Peace Officer certification, Arson Investigator certification, Fire Investigation certification, in addition to FEMA Emergency Management Training certifications. He's a certified fire and explosion investigator and a certified vehicle fire by the National Association of Fire Investigators. Please welcome our County Fire Marshal, Jay Brooks.
But quite honestly, when you have a passion for something, it just becomes life. But I appreciate that introduction. I appreciate you having me here today. I'm actually excited to come and speak because I don't get a whole lot of speaking requests. We're usually, like yesterday, I'm usually covered in dirt from head to toe in the middle of a fire. And so it's really nice when I come out and enjoy a wonderful dinner with a bunch of clean people like you. It's absolutely a great day. So,
We got it.
awesome. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm having my background is actually in IT, believe it or not, but give me a minute.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. Yes. All right, a little bit about me. Again, did go to Texas A&M. I grew up here in Smith County, White House, Texas. Graduated in class of '94 from White House, went on to A&M during the tech boom. So I was hired out. Actually, Kathy and I worked together in IT many years ago and enjoyed it. Had a great career. Started as a volunteer fireman in 2001 and just kind of progressed through that and decided that I like to see what caused the fires and how we could prevent them. And so that natural progression was me to latch on to the fire marshal's office, which was Jim Seaton at the time. And so he kind of took me under his wing and taught me what he knew. And so that sent me to police academy on my own. That sent me to fire investigation school on my own and on my own dime. It was just something that I was really very passionate about. And so again, you'll see that hopefully today is that I love what I do. I love community service. I love public service. It's absolutely 100% a passion of mine. And my job is to try to empower my people to go out and prevent fires wherever we can to preserve life and property. So I'm going to talk a little bit, and I'm going to stand down here on the way. A little bit about the fire marshal's office. Maybe. Oh, let me turn. You advance. It's not. Okay.
I got it.
So when we start talking about fire investigations, it's like any other investigation, except a lot of our evidence is gone. So, but we look for the who, what, why, when, where, how. And so that's how I kind of structured my presentation today. Who are we at the Smith County Fire Marshal's Office? We are 5 full-time peace officers and 1 administrative assistant that's civilian. We have a fire marshal, I have a chief deputy, and I have 3 deputies that reserve underneath me, serve underneath me rather. And then we have 6 reserve deputies that are appointed. And those reserve deputies are what I used to do, and that is they are at zero cost to you as taxpayers. They come in and assist us during the investigations. They are fully certified peace officers and fire investigators that just do this on their own free will. Can you answer this? What we are, the Smith County Fire Marshal's Office, we are in charge of fire protection for the county, but many don't know this. We are a standalone law enforcement agency. We are actually law enforcement officers, hence why I'm wearing a gun on my hip. Because we have full arrest capabilities for any offense in the state of Texas. It's an independent law enforcement agency. I am the only law enforcement head in Smith County that is not elected. I'm actually appointed by the Commissioner's Court. So I have to go through my election, if you will, every 2 years. So as the court changes over every 2 years, I have to be reappointed. Smith County Marshal's Office is, again, overseen by the Smith County Commissioner's Court. We're also the Office of Emergency Management. So this little thing that's going around, this COVID bug, we're right in the middle of that, unfortunately. So today I'm coming from an EOC meeting this morning where we were talking about vaccinations and how we can get more shots in the arms here in Smith County. That is something that we're passionate about, and that's something that we're working on diligently currently. And that group is made up of officials all over the county. I want to say that a lot of people are working really hard to make sure this happens. There's a lot of doctors. I mean, it is absolutely amazing, the staff that we have working on this right now. So we also lead all county fire prevention programs, and that we're going to actually be expanding this a little bit. We've had a couple of fatalities that we've made the news here recently. One of my passions is getting smoke detectors in homes. We have a serious problem in Smith County. The last 4 or 5 fires, we've had 0 working smoke detectors. And so it is absolutely a problem. It's an epidemic in this county. And so we're working to address that. Fire Prevention Week is in October. The youngins, that's who we go see in October. We love those programs, but we've got to expand that well beyond that 1 week. We also are the local emergency planning committee head for Smith County. That is the committee that gets together. Remember West explosion several years ago? That is the group that gets together to try to mitigate anything like that from happening here in Smith County. And then I also have to serve as the as an RC for Smith County to the Homeland Security Advisory Council. That's an EDCOG function. Basically, we distribute the grant money. We get to kind of vote how that gets distributed, and then there's some other things along with that. And then most recently, you may have heard the mass gatherings that are going on here in Smith County. I was appointed as the hearing officer, so I actually have to go to court. I have court reporters, and we have to hear the mass gathering applications that come in and decide whether or not mass gathering is 2,500 people or more. And so we actually have several of these going on in Smith County, whether you know it or not. And so there's obvious implications to health and safety that we have to address. And so we've also got that function that's been in place under our office as well. All right. Smith County Fire Marshal's Office was actually founded by the Commissioner's Court in 1973. There had been a civil defense department, but the Fire Marshal's Office was actually formally appointed in 1973. Charles Shine, anyone know Charles Shine by chance? I figured several of you might. Great man, great man. He was the first fire marshal for Smith County, and he served until 1999 when he passed away. At that time, Jim Seaton became the second fire marshal of Smith County until he passed away in 2014. And that's when I took over. We won't go into the when, whys, and wheres, but Connie McCoy Watson actually became the 4th and only woman so far fire marshal for Smith County until she retired in 2019. Wonderful woman. I know several of you know Connie. Okay, well, Connie was a great lady. If you hadn't met her, she is a wonderful lady, and she is now enjoying her grandchildren in retirement. So I am excited for her. All right, where are we? 11-325, square 248. We are out past DPS in a building that will withstand an E4 tornado. That is where your emergency operations center is for the county. And the building was built by the 911 district. It's the communication center. So that's where all your 911 calls go out to a dispatcher, where I'm actually down the hall from them. And then I can just route right around the hall without ever having to go out in the weather, and I can open up our emergency operations center at a moment's notice. Which anytime anyone would ever love to come out and take a tour, I'd be more than happy to give you a tour. It is a very, very, very impressive facility. So we have jurisdiction anywhere in Smith County. And I may not enforce, and the code is very clear. We're actually under 352 of the local government code. That's what gives me my authority. Chapter 352, it specifically deals with the Smith County Fire Marshal's Office. It says that I must assist any municipality. So if a fire occurs outside of an incorporated city, it is my jurisdiction to go out there and deal with it. If it occurs inside of a incorporated city, that's up to the incorporated city, unless they ask for my help. It's three people that can ask for my help: the mayor, the fire chief, and the police chief. If any one of the three of those asks for my help, the code is very clear. I don't have a choice. I have to go help them. So we can help inside of the city in the case that they would need us in a fire investigation. However, the code is also very clear. I may not, under any circumstance, enforce a code inside the city of Tyler, Lindale, White House, Bullard. And their very reasoning for that was they did not want a city putting burden on the county to enforce their code. So if they want to enact a code, they have to have their own enforcement arm to take care of that code. All right, so why do we exist? Well, because Commissioner Court of Smith County said so. All right, I don't exist without their authority. So they can create the office at any time, they can close the office at any time. It's growing pretty rapidly. And so we need to have some level of fire prevention, not necessarily just protection, but protection as well in Smith County. So the office was created again under Chapter 352 of the Local Government Code and granted authority by the Commissioner's Court regarding mass gatherings here in the last probably 3 or 4 months. So that's actually 751 Health and Safety Code. Now, I do want to talk about one quick distinction because I do want to brag on our ESDs as well. There's been some positive and negative media about the new taxing that's been going on. Emergency services districts are under 775, the Health and Safety Code. They have come into existence, so it kind of take away a little bit of what the Fire Marshal's Office was originally intended, which we were the head of the fire for all of the county. We still kind of are. We kind of coordinate those activities. But since your ESDs have formed, they have taken a lot of that responsibility on them. And so yesterday, I mentioned that I was really dirty yesterday. It's because my son was fighting his first house fire as a paid member of ESD2. And in that house fire, I went to investigate, and also because I'm a caring dad and I wanted to make sure my kid was okay. But I actually witnessed that crew because they were paid and at the station, ready to go. They saved that house yesterday. And so it's your tax dollars at work, and that new, I think it's a 1/2 cent sales tax has paid for many, many firemen, and you're going to see the benefits of that if you live in the county. I think it's wonderful. All right, so how do we do our job? Well, as I mentioned, we're peace officers. So we enforce the laws, any laws in the state of Texas with regards to our jurisdiction. So what we've seen recently is a tie-in between drugs and fires. It's just used to, we saw a lot of insurance, and we still do have an element of insurance fraud that's out there. We still have our accidental fires, but recently we are seeing a surge in drug-related fires. When a drug deal goes bad, if they know if they murder someone, they're going to be in prison for the rest of their lives, so they'll just burn their stuff. And so we have actually had to take and increase our workload a little bit. We've actually got drug interdiction officers within my office as well now. So we're actually running an element of drug interdiction. As inspectors, we may inspect any structure within Smith County outside of the incorporated city limits that's within 500 feet of another structure that's not a single or two-family residence. And there's another caveat to that is we can also inspect anywhere we have a complaint. So basically, if there's a building built within 500 feet, it's a commercial establishment, we have every right to inspect it. Now, that does not mean you have to give us every right to go in there. However, we got a thing in the Code of Criminal Procedure called a search warrant, and we will go back and get an administrative warrant. We go in, but we are going to go in and inspect. And the reason we're doing this is if anyone ever wants to know why I'm very passionate about this, look up the Station nightclub in Rhode Island, watch the videos on this particular event that occurred, and you will understand why I'm very passionate. There is actual, it's very unfortunate. It was a nightclub that was having a concert. They had pyrotechnics. It was not inspected. It was not approved. And I think 103 or 104 people lost their lives within the last 20 years. So we never want to see that in this county. Let's see. Now we also, we have a very large club that has popped up in Smith County. It's up off of 271. I'm not going to give any advertisement right now. But we've seen some incidents up there, so I'm very proactive in that monitoring of that club. So you'll see me at the front door many times. I'm counting entrance. I'm also looking for underage drinkers, And that's another thing that I have a passion for is saving children. I don't like to see some of the things I'm seeing, and so if I can grab them by the ear right now and give them a warning, I will. But I'd rather do that than see them dead on a highway somewhere. So I'm also I've identified a Chinese manufacturer of illegal IDs. So if you have children at home that are of that 17, 18 year range, be looking for these illegal IDs. They look exactly like Texas driver's license. And I mean, exactly, we cannot tell them apart. I know exactly what to look for. There's only one indicator on them that they're different. And I'm not going to give that out. All right, so let's move on. So this is one of our fire prevention programs that we did. This is just a couple of photographs and then I'll wrap it up. I was told when I came that if anyone came and stood beside me, it was time to wrap it up. So nobody's here yet, but so this is kind of what we come up against. Can anyone tell me where that fire started? And that's exactly what we have to do. We have to go into that. It was actually this. I didn't give you all the information. That door was open, by the way, when we got there. But yeah, this one was actually started right in this area. That was an arson fire. It was poured. So when we get to the scene, we have to take that and figure out what happened, where it started, and what caused it. And then from there, if it's an arson fire like this particular fire, we don't have the luxury of saying, okay, detectives come in and work this thing. We are the detectives. So we go investigate it, we be the detectives, and then we have to file a case with the DA's office. So, again, we're a small agency, so we catch it and we clean it. Next one. This is another one. This is actually a mobile home. This was another arson fire. The young lady that set this one is currently in jail. But again, can you imagine? This is what we did. That's why I say this is a lot of training it takes for us to get to this point, because we have to go in. What you can't see is there is part of this mobile home back here that is still standing. And so obviously we can kind of identify that this is the area where this fire started. I mean, that goes without saying. But we have to dig through a lot of this rubble. And so for instance, the fire where we lost the 3 children here recently and the mother, we spent days literally sifting through debris like that, trying to figure out exactly what happened on that fire, and that one's still. All right. We also do grass fire. So can you imagine having several hundred acres? 2011 was the last time that happened. We had fires that burned. One fire burned 39 homes here in Smith County, and so we had to go back and figure out where it started. So we're now using thermal imagery from drone technology to help us kind of pinpoint where these also helps the fire department. We can kind of show them where our hot spots are so that they can get to them. But then we have to go in here and try to figure out exactly what caused that. Next. We also have an element where it's environmental issues. That is actually a felony in the state. Rather going to take that? No.
And you can't do that. You can't put a mattress in your burn pile?
No, not in the state of Texas.
Oh, okay.
If it's yeah. Now,
I don't have one.
If you had one in your burn pile, am I going to go out there and no.
No.
But like I said, it actually says in the water code that is a felony.
Oh.
All right. Now, lastly, I was in investigation that, but I've been able in 2010 church arsons that occurred. I had the opportunity to investigate 6 of these fires with some of the best investigators in the nation, and it was an incredible experience. This was actually the room that was set on fire in this church. This was a pivotal piece of information in this particular case because the perpetrators, as we don't know who they are, they've been convicted, but when they went to picked up a rock to bust out the back door to go in this church, the back door being over here. I actually lived less than a mile from this church, but he left some skin cells, if you can believe it, on that rock. And one of the detectives from the sheriff's office Smith County Sheriff's Office, Noel Martin was able to collect those skin cells and get a DNA profile that ultimately led to the arrest and conviction of these individuals. So, yeah, some fantastic experience. So, I'll open it up to any questions. My contact information, that's my direct line and my email address. If I can ever do anything for anyone, just let me know. And I really do appreciate being here. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, sir.
Well, the state got it, so they use their own name or?
They actually use their own name, believe it or not. Name, address, the driver's license number, and the birthday are different. And so originally, we had one that wouldn't scan, and that's how I was alerted to it. It wouldn't scan on the system that they used at the club. The club does use a system when I'm there. They actually try to validate. I can't say when I'm not there, but so it did scan. So I went down to my scanner and I ran the number, and it came back to someone in Houston. And so when I started doing some questioning, I found out what the name of the website was, and actually went up to DPS Austin with it, and then it went to Secret Service. And so we've actually had that one particular website shut down, but now there's others that are starting to pop up. You know, a lot of the technology that we use to produce our IDs is made in China. Well, anything that's made in China is intellectual property of the Republic of China. And so they just manufacture more, and then they sell them these parties that will pop up on the internet, and it will sell your children an ID that says they're 21, 22, 23, or 24 years old. Yes, sir.
Great inspectors of mattresses. I'm curious, one, why is it illegal to burn a mattress? And two, what the heck do you do?
Well, it's supposed to go to the landfill where it's supposed to go. But the reason being is this is gonna be a cardinal sin in East Texas. It's because it's made with an oil byproduct. That's the reason why it would be damaging to the environment. Like I said, if I came across that, no, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna arrest somebody for burning a mattress. But like I said, it is technically illegal, so we do frown upon it. Yes, ma'am.
What's the first thing you look for when you go to a fire?
Sound asleep, and as my phone goes off, and so I jump up. It takes me a few minutes to kind of collect my thoughts. But anyway, so as I'm going out there, I'm already thinking about what I've got. I'm listening to the radio, and when I arrive on scene, I want to make sure that there's nobody there because that changes the dynamics of everything. And then I'm going to look for scene safety, just make sure that I don't see anything that can explode or hurt me. Because doing this job, I've had people come out with machetes, I've had guns pointed at me. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at people that want to hurt, anybody that's wearing a gun. And quite frankly, we've had firemen shot at in my career. And so there are some bad people. So I'm constantly scanning, looking for people that are standing around, things like that. Then what I'm kind of gauging is this normal? In other words, that car is sitting out in the middle of nowhere with no one around it claiming this car. That's not normal. So immediately I'm suspect of an arson fire. So we have to go through the scientific method. It's a long process to get there, but I'm already thinking, we possibly have an arson.
Just real quick, you talked about the smoke alarms and smoke detectors in the houses. What's the average lifespan of smoke detectors?
Smoke detectors are good for 10 years, and they're actually dated. Now, they make smoke detectors now that are good for the entire 10 years. I mean, I'm talking about the battery. I'm not a huge fan of that. I like to change my batteries in mine. I want to make sure they're working.
So the one that was wired into my house in 1983 is no longer any good?
It's probably good, but no, I would not. I would want to replace that one at this point. Yes, ma'am.
What about other ones?
Yes, sir.
When you're at a club, are you dressed in uniform or plain clothes? At a club at night.
If I'm at a club, it depends on what my objective is. If I'm going to be standing at the front door, I'm clearly marked in a uniform.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more intimidating than the one I'm wearing right now.
That's pretty intimidating. Some time ago, when I was a young man, we had a fellow in our area of county that used to burn his property off every year. And as he did that, he burned off everybody else's property 20 miles around. What is the law now about fire crossing property?
Very good question. So first of all, if you're gonna burn anything other than household refuse, in other words, if you're gonna burn your property off, you are supposed to have permission from any person, any adjacent property owner that has a building with sensitive receptors within 300 feet. What that means is if you're gonna burn grass, you're gonna burn tree trimmings, leaves, whatever the case may be, anyone within 300 feet, whether it's a house with someone in it, whether it's a barn, or even a sensitive receptor is basically any life. So horses, cattle, person, plants, you're supposed to have written permission from them before you burn. Now, that's only going to come into question if we get called. But if a fire crosses a property line and damages, legislature added another clause to 2802, which is the arson statute. So if you intentionally start a fire and you're reckless, and that fire burns now. Again, we don't use that one very often, but I mean, we have to see a true recklessness for us to use that statute. Good question. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that was Dixie.
Well, being that I'm newly divorced, no. No, actually. No, actually, I kid, but no, it's seriously, it's to try to stay safe, because you think about it, there's, 12, 1,500, and when COVID's over, there's potential to have up to 2,500 people in this particular club. And there are an element of people in those clubs that do not like people like me. And so my job is to stay where I have room that I can turn around and run, quite frankly. I just want to put distance between me and whoever might be coming at me. So, because I'm in there by myself. Now, the sheriff's office, when they hear me check out there, they're great. Those guys are hovering the streets. They know something's about to go down. So they're sitting there hovering. But, when I haven't been there, we've had shootings, we had sexual assaults in the parking lot. So I try to be there when I can to try to deter some of that. Yes, sir.
Are the codes in the city and the county very different from each other?
They are very different, however, they're similar. So in the city has adopted international fire code, and in the county, we don't have a 250,000 population. I may enforce a code that the state that's adopted. The state's adopted the NFPA 1.101 standard, which is the fire code and the life safety code. So we cannot adopt the international fire code. So we have a disparate systems between the city and the county. But the codes are very, very similar. Yes, ma'am.
Question on oil pallets, are they in code?
Okay.
I've done a lot on that over the years.
We do go out and check them, and we do bring them up. There has been some question. They are in code. Now, what we're working on right now is the mass gathering. They actually have to comply with the Mass Gathering Act. So I think there's an event coming up on March 4th that I'm actually working with them right now, because they do not have a permit, and it's against the law to advertise without a permit. So we're going to have to try to figure out that really quick.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're bad news. We go to the circus there.
Who did you ask about? Who was that?
Oil pallets.
Okay.
The Toby Mac concert.
Thank you all very much.
I want to present you with this certificate for a book that we've donated to the Literacy Council in your memory, or on your behalf. Oh, God. Okay. And always count your president. Okay, I'm sorry, on behalf, in your behalf. And so hopefully you can display this in your office. And I have one more quick question, but you have to answer it quick. Fire pits. Are there restrictions on fire pits? None. So if you want to cut down a tree and burn it up little bit by little bit, go for it. Okay, there you go. Wasn't that awesome? That was learned a lot of it. Other people did too. Okay, now it's time for our Ace of Diamonds drawing. What do we have today? Got to be close to 1,800. Wow, that's $900 for the club and $900 for the winning ticket. And Jay, we're going to let you draw and read us the last three numbers of the ticket that you draw.
There are 18 cards left. So we're getting down there.
Ooh, 18 out of 52. That's close. Just read the last three.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Oh, happy birthday, John. Yeah. John, you can do it, I know. I just feel it. Yeah, the force. Such a decision. She clued down the Ace of Diamonds. Oh, better luck next time. Okay, now if you'll all stand with us and repeat the four and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it be better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you for coming today. With you again, and we're adjourned.
Good seeing you guys.
Thank you. I don't normally, but I'm like. I'm behind Green Acres Church. I live literally, I mean, if you go down my street right there at Biloxi in the Loop, but if you go all the way down, I dead end in Green Acres Church.
That is your business in Boulder.
Yeah, my offices are in Boulder, so.
Okay.
I start out there every morning and then just make my way and drive.